Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to take a look at the new DC Comics Multiverse 6-inch Batman The Dark Knight Returns figures from Mattel. Now this wave of 3 figures is a Walmart exclusive. We've got the Son of Batman, Batman, and Superman, all based on the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns comic book. These figures come packaged in the standardized DC Multiverse window box packaging. You've got the red and kind of blackish trim. The figures are clearly displayed. On the windows of each package, it says Batman The Dark Knight Returns, and then down below we have some comic art for each character, the name of the characters, and then a 30th anniversary edition banner in a gold metallic trim. On the side of the packaging, we again have some comic book art for each of the characters, and then on the back we have a look at the figures, and then it shows us all 3 figures in the wave. Okay, let's get these open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figures outside of the packaging. Now this is obviously a quick set that Mattel kind of threw together to help celebrate the 30th anniversary of The Dark Knight Returns, the comic book series from Frank Miller, and or the graphic novel I should say. And it's hard to believe it's been 30 years since that came out back in '86. I still have the original, my original copy someplace. I haven't read it in years. And I've got to be honest, I know I'm probably in the minority here, but I have never been a fan of Frank Miller art. I love the story. I thought the story was great, but I've just never really been a fan of his artwork and these big kind of bulky bodies that he draws for Batman and Superman. Again, I know I'm kind of in the minority with that, I guess, but it's just never really been my thing. But nevertheless, we are getting 3 figures, new figures from Mattel, and I use the word new loosely because these are mostly just retooled previously released figures. So we previously got a Dark Knight Returns Batman figure. It was done with the black and gray and the black bat symbol, and it was done, I believe, in the DC Unlimited line a couple years ago. So that's basically the same buck that we're getting with both Superman and Batman here. We are getting a new head sculpt on Batman, at least. Now I don't have that Unlimited figure, so I can't give you an exact comparison. Now each figure comes with its own accessory. Actually, Son of Batman comes with 2, but Superman comes with an arrow. It's a kryptonite tipped arrow, and it's in the comics. Green Arrow gives this to Batman, and Batman uses it to defeat Superman in a fight. And it's got, basically, it's just a long stem done with green, almost a neon green paint. The stem of the arrow is a gray, and then the back of the arrow is yellow. Now Batman comes with his Batarang, and it's done in blue, and it's a soft rubber type material, so it does come out of the packaging a little bit warped. Not a whole lot of sculpting detail. We do have the word China written on it, but that's really the only detail on it. And then the Son of Batman figure comes with a shotgun, and that's actually not too bad of sculpting on this. You've got some wood sculpting design on the back of the gun, and it's done with just the rest of the gun is done with like a gray plastic. So not super detailed, but not too bad. And then he also comes with a torch, and this is done with a almost semi-transparent orange plastic for the flame, and again a very soft kind of rubber for this, so it's a little warped out of the packaging. Dark gray paint for the handle. Again, we have China written on the side. Here's a close-up of the Batman figure. As I said, we've got a new head sculpt here, and I think this looks pretty good as far as, you know, Frank Miller's artwork goes. I like the wrinkles on the mask, and then, you know, I like the facial expression that they've given him. He's got the whited out eyes. The bat symbol is just painted on. You've got the utility belt, which is a separate piece that's glued on, and you've got the pouches that are sculpted, and that looks pretty good. And this again is the same utility belt like the previous Batman figure that they did. And then he's got the blue shorts, blue boots, blue gloves, blue cape, which is that vinyl material. Articulation on this figure is pretty, that standard DCUC type articulation. Head's on a ball joint so he can look left, right. Doesn't have a whole lot of up or down movement. Can get his arm out. Good rotation at the arm. Does have a bicep swivel. Single hinged elbow. Can only bend his elbow about that much, and then swivels at the wrist, but no hinges. Does have an ab crunch joint, so it can crunch down a little bit and can look back a bit. Has a waist swivel. Has hinges at the leg, so it can do the splits about that much, and then also has a rotation there, upper thigh rotation, and single hinge knee, so he can bend his knee about that much. He can get his leg forward about that much, and he can do his leg back pretty good. You also have a boot cuff swivel, and then you have hinges on the feet, so you have some up and down movement, but no ankle pivot, and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. So Superman uses basically the same body mold as Batman does. You know, different belt. I think the shorts are pretty much the same. Actually, maybe the shorts are a little bit different, obviously, and they're red, but they look like they're actually have different wrinkles on them, so not exact same shorts. Boots are different, and hands are different. Now, I don't know if this is a head sculpt that they've used on a previous figure, but it looks like they just, for this extra hair piece and the little curl, they just glued on an extra piece onto the forehead. So it's kind of weird. So you get this line break between the main part of the head and this extra hair piece that they basically have glued onto the front of the figure. It looks a little funny with that line because you can see some yellow plastic between the line there. Also have a little bit of paint, I don't know, paint wear or something here on this seam that goes up his neck. I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but that's not too major. And then for the blues on the costume, that looks like they've tried to mix in some kind of black wash, and I don't know if it works too well. Like here in his midsection, it almost looks like it's just a black splotch on the costume, so it almost makes the blues look like 2 different tones of blue throughout the costume. So again, I'm not really sure if I like that or not. Cape is just that vinyl material, and then articulation is pretty much exactly the same as Batman. Can look left, right, no real up or down movement with the head, can get the arm out, got the rotation, has the bicep swivel, single hinged elbow, swivels at the wrist, crunch down, look back, waist swivel, can do the splits about that much, can get the leg forward about that much. The shorts on both figures are the kind of vinyl material. You actually can squeeze it a little bit, just like with the cape, so it gives you some give there, and you can do the leg back. You've got the thigh swivel, you've got a single jointed knee, boot cuff swivel, hinges on the feet, so good up and down movement, but no ankle pivot, and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Now, the final figure that they released is the Sons of Batman, one of the gang members in the comic, and a little disappointed we didn't get like Robin as opposed to this character. And this figure, I believe, is a reuse of the DCUC Guy Gardner Green Lantern figure. So I think it's a different head sculpt. Again, I don't have that figure, so I can't give an exact comparison, but I'm pretty sure it's the same figure. You've got the blue painted on over his eyes. It looks like a bat symbol. You've got the Guy Gardner jacket with the sweater type turtleneck underneath, and then you've got some almost purplish color for the belt and the gloves, and then light gray for the pants, and then a darker same color as the jacket for the boots, a dark type blue color for the boots. And even though this is a reuse of the Guy Gardner figure, I think it looks pretty good for the Son of Batman character. And you've got the little things that stick out on the gloves, in tradition of Batman and stuff. So in like the comics, basically Batman takes these guys under his wings and trains them and becomes his little army towards the end. So, again, I mean, it's kind of a cool character, but I would have rather seen Robin in this line than this one. I don't think Mattel's done a Dark Knight Returns Robin. Anyway, so the figure overall is pretty basic. Again, articulation is pretty much the same as we see on the Batman and Superman. Can look left, right, no real up or down movement, get his arms out, good rotation, got the bicep swivel, single hinged elbow. Can't really bend his elbow very good, unfortunately, on this. Got the swivels on the wrists. You also have the big pegs that stick out on the elbows with these. Can do the splits pretty good. Do his leg forward good. Do his leg back pretty good. Has a thigh swivel. Single hinged knee, but it can bend his knee pretty good. Can bend his knee better than the Batman Superman figures. Hinges on the feet, so up and down movement, but no ankle pivot, and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. So Batman and Superman are about the same height, and they stand roughly about 6 3/4 inches tall, and then the Sons of Batman figure is a little bit shorter, and he's closer to about 6.5 inches tall. Okay, so that's my view. Overall, I would say these are okay figures. They're not great. They're not horrible. I have some minor complaints, especially with the Superman figure. I don't like that hair piece that they stuck on the front of the forehead and that line that you see, that seam. I also don't really like the black that they tried to mix in on the blue of the costume. But otherwise, I think these are halfway decent looking figures. Now, obviously, nowhere near as nice looking as like Mezco's new line of Dark Knight 112 collective figures, but they don't cost nearly as much either. These are about $20 each. They are Walmart exclusive figures, and they are hitting shelves now. We'll have a full gallery of images up at toynewseye.com. There's a link in the description below. And as always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.